Now, as efforts continue to bring Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine to a negotiated end, rights groups in Russia are facing more challenges from the government. Transgender is the name of the foundation that helped trans people in Russia for decades. Now it has been banned by Russian authorities who say it's a threat to national security. DW met with the founders of the network in New York, where they went into exile after they were forced to flee in 2017.
Moments of tenderness in the middle of New York. In Russia, trans couple Yael and Andrei wouldn't have dared to do this. Their life became increasingly dangerous for them because they helped other trans people.
We started with support groups, just cheerleading. It was very popular back then. People traveled for our support group, even from Uzbekistan. It was 2004.
In 2012, Yael and Andrei opened a private clinic in Moscow and founded the Transgender Foundation, which looked after almost 1,000 trans people in Russia for years. It was one of the largest and most important institutions for the LGBTQ+ community.
There was this brief period when we did it. It was the best time in Russia in general.
Those days are over. At the end of January this year, the Transgender Foundation had to close on the instructions of the authorities. The reason given was that it endangered national security. Another step by the Russian authorities in the fight against the LGBTQ+ community. The so-called gay propaganda law was passed in 2013. Since then, the authorities have been taking increasingly radical action against queer people and those who help them. Queer activists are now classified as extremists. Raids like these happen again and again in the community.
Anything at all can be declared as spreading extremist ideology. A boy who dyes his hair, a girl who cuts her hair shorter. All this can be declared participation in the activities of an extremist organization if you want.
Igor Kochetkov also campaigned for the rights of queer people in Russia for years and headed the largest LGBTQ+ network. He received death threats in Russia. Kochetkov now lives in exile in Lithuania. In his view, the ban of the Transgender Foundation in Russia fits in with the Kremlin's fight against Western ideology.
They're trying to create a new state ideology, which, first of all, must contain an image of the internal enemy and an image of the external enemy, so that it would be clear who we're fighting against. LGBTQ+ people are ideally suited for this. This is directly related to the war in Ukraine. This is almost the main explanation of why we cannot make peace with the West, because we're moral and they are not.
Back in New York, Yael and Andrei are faced with the ruins of their life's work after the closure of their foundation. Now they're helping trans people to flee from Russia to the United States.
Of course, it's painful. Even when you've seen it coming for years, it still hurts, because it's the result of so much work. And more than anything, it's about the people. Honestly, I tell everyone who has the chance, they should leave.
However, with Donald Trump coming to power, the US no longer seems to be a safe place for trans people either. By decree, he is trying to restrict the rights of trans people in sport and the army.
Many Russian-speaking people are in a state of panic. They're projecting what happened back home to what's happening here. To them, it seems like déjà vu.
Yael and Andrei don't want to give up and are now fighting for the rights of trans people in the US so that things don't go as far as they did in Russia.